From the Pattaya People Media Group Studios, we proudly present Personalities.
My guest in the studio today is Carson. He's a music artist from Sweden. Jerry plays piano, he plays rock and roll, he plays country, he plays blues and boogie woogie. Well, welcome to the studio today, Jerry.
Thank you so much, Niels. It's a pleasure.
Well, I like to say that Jerry Ken Carson, he was born on the 8th of September 1972 in a place called Landskrona in Sweden. And before we come to the questions, I'd like to tell you a little story about Jerry, the way he was introduced to music the first time. As a 10-year-old, he found a garbage container that contained a dollhouse and a keyboard, among other garbage. Well, he might have had an interest for architecture because he chose the dollhouse. But after playing with the dollhouse for about 5 minutes, he realized that that was boring and he went back for the keyboard. The rest is history. But
Yes.
what do you have to say about that experience?
Well, you know, that's a long, long time ago. I can't recall everything, but I remember bringing the dollhouse home, you know, and I, like you said, I loved architecture, and for a few years I just, painted these buildings and stuff, so I always had the interest for that. So it was even architecture or a musician. So, but at that point, I think I chosen the musician. But I brought it home and listened to the radio, and all of a sudden I could play the songs that I heard on the radio. So, that was fun,
And the first song that you actually learned to play was the Swedish national hymn.
Yeah, it was actually, maybe we sang it in school, at the season endings and stuff like that, So that's the first song that came up, That's a known song that everybody would know. So my set list was not too long in the first hour, but it was popular.
But then in school, I know that you took any chance to practice music. You really got into it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I had not too many friends because I wasn't at the spare time we had in school, the breaks to lunch, just had a quick lunch and then I got down to the basement where we had an upright piano. And in the aula we had a grand piano, Steinway piano actually, So I even knew the guy that working in the school as he had a key. His father was a teacher, so we could sneak in there in the weekends when school was closed. And we played the Steinway piano. That was fun.
But in your life, a very important figure is Jerry Lee Lewis, the rock and roll legend.
Yeah.
And in 1992, you actually traveled first time to Memphis. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I traveled to Memphis, and I was supposed to stay there on vacation for 2 weeks, And I was in Memphis. I went with my drummer. He went to New Orleans and got robbed. That's a sad story, but I stayed in Memphis because Jerry Lewis was going to have his birthday. That was in September 92, and I stayed in Memphis. And I met this guy that, saw the talent in me. I even had talent back then, I can't believe it. Long time ago. And I was invited to his house, and I called my parents, hey, I'm not coming home. I'm staying here for 3 months. That's when the visa runs out, right? So I stayed there for 10 weeks in Memphis. Stayed at his house, we rented a piano, and I got some gigs, not big ones, but still, and got my ways around, got to know the language, more in American language. Start writing some songs slowly, get into the fast food stuff and all that.
The American way of life.
Yeah, that's right.
You met a lot of interesting people that I'm sure that only people that are known as performers, but also the backroom kind of people in the studios and people really famous. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, I met many people. I had contacts with journalists. I have a great Canadian friend that showed me around in Memphis, in Nashville as well. We went into these recording studios and we met these great people. I met Scotty Moore, DJ Fontana, the Elvis musicians. and I was in recording session. I went into recording sessions, did not play, but I listened to the music. The Mavericks, part of the Mavericks was there, and all these great guys. And I was actually recording in Sun Studio in '93, just for fun, you know. All these legendary Sun people were there. Not the most famous ones, but you know, Barbara Pittman, Max Elvington, you know, and you know those cats that didn't really make it, but you know they were still legends. You know, they were recording "My Gal Is Red Hot." Can't recall the guy's name now. Sorry, but anyway, the rockabilly legends were there. You know, recorded in the studio. This was fun. You know, I was just singing. We had a lot of fun. Billy Swan was there. You know, I Can Help song. A lot of great fun. You know, and I actually on my the second record I made it in Nashville, and I had Elvis guitar player, Reggie Young, the studio guitar player. You know, Nashville is open, like the musicians get one rate, or they get double rate or three double rate. Those musicians I had three double rates, so there's still not much money. It's like $200 per musician. So I had to choose between the guitar player for Pretty Woman, Roy Orbison's Pretty Woman, or Elvis studio guitar player. So that's a hard choice. But I chose the Reggie Young, the guitar player for Elvis, session player in the studio. That was great fun, you know. And then we actually recorded my own songs, you know. That's to hear Reggie Young, Elvis guitar player playing my songs, you know. That's and like it, you know. That's great.
With that experience, you came back to Sweden, and in 1996 you made your first appearance in Swedish television.
Yeah.
And that went with a bang.
It was real fun, you know, because I never believed I would go on TV, you know. And I had a very young girlfriend by the time, and she told me, Jerry, she was 15. Don't tell that to anyone. But I was young too, so she said, Jerry, you have to go on TV. Well, I can't go on TV. You know what? Don't see my talent on TV. You know, I'll play for you here. Oh, you got to go on TV. Make a little VHS tape. You know, we didn't have DVD back then. You record a tape. You know, and yeah, my drummer was sitting behind me. I was playing the piano. We did a whole lot of shaking and great balls of fire. And we sent it in, and in a few weeks I got a phone call. You're elected to the show. You know. We went to Gothenburg and had we tried it out, you know, and a few weeks later they called me. So the first show is going to be, in November somewhere that year, and I won that contest. So that's when it all started, you know.
And then you started going abroad. You went actually to Africa the year after.
Yeah, that was hot, even hotter than I can remember. Yeah, we did. We go down to the South Sinai desert in Egypt for a week. You know, and you know, people never heard about rock and roll down there.
Well, there was something similar to that in a year later when you had a call from Italy. That, they wanted you to come down to Milan to play, but they didn't know much about the business too, and you went there.
It was a time where the first spam mail started turning up in in the emails. So I thought it was a spam call or something, you know. So how much money do you want? Something. But actually, I was in the garage and I got this phone call. Still remember it, you know. And they wanted me to come to Italy and try for it. And I didn't think it was true, you know. But then a month later, I was there, and we did. Every Thursday for 3 months, I guess. I myself.
And you actually flew down there just for one day.
Flew down from Copenhagen. I lived down south in Sweden then. You know, I flew down from Copenhagen to Milano in the morning and got back next morning. And that was a lot of fun. You know, we had a lot of fun. This club held like 600 people. It's a big 50s diner. So and I remember the big Cadillac in the middle of the restaurant. I was sitting there after the show with a beautiful Italian girl on the beep beep in the Cadillac, just with a cigar, you know. Just had a great time.
And the cigar.
Yeah, the cigar.
You brought the cigar today.
Yeah, I did. And it's for you actually. But I'll give it to you later.
Okay. Anyway, Jerry Carson, he's known as a Jerry Lee Lewis impersonator. And I know that you teamed up with two other guys to do a complete kind of show called The Legends. That was one guy doing Roy Orbison, another doing Elvis, and yourself doing Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about The Legends.
Well, it started out in 2001, and I remember that summer was very quiet. I just hadn't found out what I was going to do. I wanted to do something new, and I spoke to my friend Johnny, and he does Roy Orbison. We went to the same program, Johnny and I. Did Roy Orbison, who won his part of the program as I did, and we spoke, and we need to do something with. We should have one Elvis guy in the show, and I found out the name of the show, Legends. Yeah, let's call this guy that won all the whole competition, Henrik. And we called Henrik, and he was open to the idea, and we just had the first gig in September 2001. And we just been working since then with that show, and it's going great. The concert hall are full.
You still do it?
Oh yeah, we still do it. Actually, we just celebrated our 10th anniversary last year, and it's amazing, because we just fill up every concert hall. We had like 85% people to.
But talking
average.
about filling up concert halls, I know that you're an organizer yourself, and you make quite good money doing that.
You said that. yeah. Well, doing pretty good. Yeah.
So you organize various shows. Tell us about some of the things you've been involved.
Oh, we've done a lot of shows. I've done a lot of shows. When I started the Legends, I think people could see that I could organize things, And
Johnny Cash was also.
Yeah, we did a Johnny Cash with a famous Swedish actor, Ted Åström. He's great. We did a Johnny Cash, a story of Johnny Cash. Before that, I think I did like 100 or 200. How we remember Elvis or something, a show like that with a guy that also in the Legends. We did like 200 shows doing that, and did 50, 60 shows with the Johnny Cash show, traveling around. And then I did the Roy Orbison story, write the script, everything, get this gear together, just go out on tour, and you'd be gone for 3 or 4 weeks. So that's why I don't have a bandwidth, if you ask me.
Okay, but now to Pattaya. When did you come here to Pattaya the first time?
I think it was in the winter of 2004. I was here the first time. And then we went to, on that trip, me and my friend, we also went to Japan and Hong Kong. And we stopped by in Pattaya for a week or something, Yeah, so that's my first memory of Pattaya, really.
But since then you did a couple of very high-profile concerts. The International Bed Race comes to mind, and of course the now famous concert at the Blues Factory, where people there really got to know you. How did you feel about that kind of turn in your life in Pattaya?
It's quite exciting to come here, Some people haven't heard about rock and roll. I'm talking about local people, that's exciting itself, to show you. I don't want to say world-class performance, but a good performance of rock and roll to people that haven't really got into that music. And then I'm surprised, I'm really happy that the music that I like is played at the bars, It's kind of, it's going back 30 years here, but in a good way.
But the young generation seem to take to your music too.
Oh yeah, even the locals like it, Really push
because you represent the young generation, and you play a kind of music that doesn't really correspond to your age.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So it's kind of, you get out to a lot of people doing that, I guess, But it's like I'm saying, it's going back 30 years, but in a good way. It's fun, It's like, I get a feeling same in Italy, It's all exciting, It's very exciting to be here.
Now, exciting, yes, that is probably one of the words you would use about Pattaya.
Yeah.
Now, knowing Pattaya the way you do it now, what's the thing you like best about Pattaya?
Well, it's probably the recognition you get when you perform, like the enthusiastic audience, you know, and the compliments, you know, that's all good energy for a person like me. Like that's good gasoline for the Jerry Carson car. You know, it keeps me going. You know, gotta need that gasoline, and you got it here, and you know, it's encouragement to go on, and, you know, get ideas for writing songs. You know, you see different cultures and different people, and probably the best thing that I meet people that's very gentle and friendly and got the same thinking as I do. Yeah.
Now, if you should think about something that you would like to change in Pattaya, something that you not particularly like about Pattaya, what would that be?
Oh, that's hard. Jerry Carson coming here more often. I don't know. Maybe I would see like a concert hall. But I have nothing to complain about, really. You know, it's more structure when it comes to driving motorbikes and cars. Maybe, you know, more safe ways. You know, it's like sometimes I see a little craziness. You know, it's a lot of accidents. So that would I would change if I would.
If you were the mayor.
If I were the mayor,
Yeah.
or even Nils Carl. Just kidding.
Well, you've been known as an impersonator of a rock and roll legend, but I also know from knowing you that it is deep in your mind to create your own identity as a musician, Jerry Carson. Now, tell us about your thoughts on that.
Well, I've been writing a bunch of songs since 2001. I've been my first record, '96, of course. I wrote a lot of songs. Even then, I'm surprised that I knew that I had to do something on my own. And you know, but work has been taken over that part in my life. It's good and bad. You know, making money is taken over. So you get into that circle of making money or making business. You know, the telephone keeps ringing. You know, you cannot say no because I'm a yeser. Yes sayer, you know. I just say yes because, you know, I want to let people down, so that, you know, you have to say no and you have to concentrate on doing your own things, you know, record the songs, because I have a talent that I haven't showed to people, talent of writing music, and I want to tell people about I can do it, so I have to record it.
Jerry, one day we have to leave this world. When you do, what would you like to be known for?
My songwriting and the explosive power of my artistry and the show I do live. Yeah, that's two things. Yeah.
Jerry Carson.
And the personality, of course.
Okay. Jerry Carson, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure to talk to you.
Hey, what about the cigar?
Yeah, let's go. Suits you great.
This program is produced by Pattaya People Media Group. Stay tuned for further personalities.